Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Taylor, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, your weekly digest of hobby goodness. Donny, have you ever heard the expression that you wait ages for a bus and then three come along at once?
Maybe.
Yep. Well,
Yes, I think.
this year has been nothing but release after release from Upper Deck.
It's
And
true.
while we shouldn't ever look a gift horse in the mouth, the elephant in the room was always, when's the next Marvel Masterpieces set coming out? Please, oh please, for the love of God, please tell us. Such was the thirst. But rejoice, friends, as a few weeks back, as people will hear this, the artist was announced, as were the first images. So today, and maybe a day or several later than most, what are you going to do? My good friend Donny Caltrider and I are going to walk through the cell sheet and the paintings that have been released so far. So first off, Donny, welcome back. How the devil are you?
I am well. Thanks for having me back on. It's
No,
it's been a couple months, I think,
always a pleasure. You were on with Tom Fleming?
with Tom Fleming,
Tom
and that
Fleming?
was back in that episode came out in March, I think.
March, yeah.
So it doesn't feel like that long, but
Oh, it
yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't. Time flies. Time flies. Um, I didn't tell you I was going to mention this, so but I'm pretty sure it's public knowledge. You've had quite a big announcement since the last time we spoke, haven't we?
Yes, I have. Yes,
What's
we are
happened?
expecting our first child in October. So we're both very excited for that. It'll be a little boy.
I was so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was but a moment's work for you, but such is the way of things. But yeah. Wow. Okay. I went there already, and this is we're only like 2 minutes
Oh
in.
boy, yeah.
It's going to be a long one. Strap in. So that's really cool. I'm so excited for you. You've got this. This is your last summer of, well, I guess it's kind of nesting and all that kind of cool stuff, isn't it?
We right, which is why I'm in the chair in the living room and not in my office because my office is becoming a nursery and the dining room will be my new office, but it has stuff in it. So
Wow. Okay.
that's one for later today and every weekend,
Yeah.
through July. But we're working through it, and
Yeah. Good.
it's gonna be really really good.
Exciting changes, necessarily so as well. So
Hmm.
cool. All right. Well, um, you've um, you've been busy. I've been seeing all the stuff that you're up to, kind of from a side, and I say that because I don't. I know you told me, but I'm terrible. My mum always said that I have got a head like a sieve, goes in one ear and out the other. Because sometimes I'm just useless at retaining information, or if I don't get it, it kind of my brain stops trying and it just jettisons the small piece that it had. So you've been doing a few weekend things and chisel. So what is it you've been doing with artists? And just talk about that for a minute because it kind of leans into what we're going to talk about today.
Sure. So in addition to writing about art, I work with a bunch of Magic the Gathering artists in selling their originals and their artist proof cards, handling commissions and things like that. Events have come back now, which is good. So I've been to most recently Philadelphia and Minneapolis with one of the artists I work with, and she and I set up to handle the convention booth. And it's I mean it's these are large events, 10,000
Mm,
people. Um, signatures, prints, playmats, all sorts of merchandise and things like that. So I've been working a little bit with that, and then I'm headed to Barcelona later on this month, which is very exciting.
You're heading this
Yeah,
way, kind of,
I'm headed your way. I'll
kind
be in
of.
Europe for the first
Yeah.
time in 15 years. So
Wow.
that'd be good with an artist I work with from the Netherlands. So
Wow. That's
recent development.
exciting.
Yep.
That's exciting. Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers.
Yep.
Well, I guess it's good that you're getting them in now, rather
That,
than later, you know.
yep. So
Um,
that'll be good. Lots of good stuff coming.
you mentioned your articles, of course.
Hmm.
So for those who don't remember, because the when you were on, oh, 2 years ago, easily now,
It's
maybe a bit longer.
episode 81.
You remember this?
It's because it's Mysterio's card number.
Oh, oh wow. Okay. All right. All right. I knew there was a method. Um, so when you were on before, people would have heard, go and check out episode 81, folks. Um, that you write for Hipsters of the Coast.
Hmm. Yep.
Now, who remind me who are Hipsters of the Coast again?
They are, it's a Magic the Gathering for the most part. They do a little bit of other stuff website, primarily a news outlet.
Hmm.
But we've got writers writing about just about everything, different Magic formats and nerd culture and gaming life and things
Yeah.
of that nature. So I get to do mostly Magic there, but then a little bit of a Marvel column too. It's once a month now. It was for a while, it was every 2 weeks, but as things quieted down, releases fell off. It just made sense to
Mm.
go to once a month. So
Yeah.
right now I'm writing about Unbound,
Mm.
doing like a wrap up. I used to do that quarterly, but then they were too long and every 2 weeks was too short. So the monthly cadence seems to work good. And then I mix in some stuff. I'm, still talking about Masterpieces 2020.
Mm.
I should do like a little art recap of Fleer Ultra because that was an original art set.
Yeah.
It's on the never-ending list to get written, but we'll
Yeah.
we'll get there. Now that
Yeah.
it's out on EPAC, I think I'll
Yeah.
shoot for that next. So
Cool. Well, listen, the flight to Barcelona will give you a few writing hours, I'm sure. So,
I hopefully I'm sleeping on the flight to Barcelona because it's overnight.
oh,
So
it's overnight. Yeah, of
it's
course.
overnight
Yeah.
here. So
Mm.
if I don't go to sleep, I'm going to be in big trouble
Yeah.
when I wake up. But yes,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with that. I usually try to, and on very few occasions have I actually managed to sleep
yeah,
on the flight for me, which is back from America.
yeah,
Um, just regardless of how much alcohol I drink.
yeah.
Um, I did once with the former future Mrs. Taylor. I did come back from America once on a United flight, and it was only about a quarter full.
Okay,
And so they clearly had a full complement of food and drink. So they kept like offering us like little mini bottles of prosecco or champagne. They kept
okay,
giving to us.
seems
And
all right.
then yeah, and then of course we'd had a few, so we were ballsy enough to tell them, which at the time wasn't true, but we were ballsy enough to tell them that we just got engaged on that trip. And
Ah,
so all of a sudden the frequency of delivery improved. So by the time we were flying over Ireland, in the last hour of the flight coming to
sure.
UK, absolutely wankered, like properly. So it's like we're there at Heathrow in the morning at like 8 a.m., like blinking in the sunlight.
Right, right.
Get a cab back, and we were like, you know what? There's no point in going to bed now, even though we're really tired because we're
Sure.
absolutely blotted. Let's just go out. So we went out and just carried on, made a day of it.
There you go.
So there we go. Anyway, so I wanted to say on those articles, the Masterpieces Theatre ones especially. Um, I've said this to you on message, but I just want to say thank you for the very kind words on your latest column
Yeah, of course.
about that Black Cat sketch and just generally
Mhm.
about, oh, you showed some good stuff on that column. Oh,
Yeah,
so for those who haven't seen Donny's columns, I'll put a link on the show notes on the Facebook page for the audio version and on the YouTube kind of commenty text
cool.
bit, whatever that's
Perfect.
called, so people can go and check them out. Um, so the reason I kind of wanted to kind of give that little background for those who might not have the will to or have heard that previous episode or might just consume this via YouTube, you're kind of quite tight in the Magic the Gathering world. You're
Yeah,
tight.
within that the art
That
community,
community.
especially people
Mm.
that aren't artists but work with artists and do that. There's not very many of us.
Right.
And there's almost nobody that writes about it anymore. There's been ebbs and flows and things like that,
Oh,
but it
interesting.
gets challenging. The deeper you go, the harder it is to keep up with things like that. So it's
Yeah.
there's only a handful of folks writing about the art from a critical perspective, I guess, so to
Yeah.
speak. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean being critical of it, but just, that sort of writing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So you already knew of Dan dos Santos,
I did. Yep.
didn't you?
Yep. He's done a fair few magic cards, I think maybe almost 2 dozen-ish
Oh, wow. Okay.
over time. The most recent of them from just a couple years ago came out in a special set, and that was like the first time he'd popped back in, and then he disappeared again, and nobody knew why. But now we do.
Now we do. Um, and I mean, I'm hoping we'll get the opportunity to ask this of Dan himself in due course. But I imagine that much like Masterpieces 2020, having an artist from the Magic who's more well known from Magic the Gathering, I guess, would probably bring a whole fresh blood into Marvel cards.
M- Maybe, yeah. I
Maybe.
think we could see it happen again. I mean, the world's a little differently than it was in
Mm,
2020.
mm,
So there was a lot of people that just, caught onto that upswing, I think. But there
yeah.
will definitely be people that follow him. Dave was a much more regular artist for Magic.
Yeah.
Dan did a lot of stuff back in like I want to say like 2009, 10, 11,
Oh,
and then
okay.
and then came back in 2020 with three cards ish,
Right.
right in that range, 2019, 2020,
Okay.
and then disappeared again. So, but the ones that he did, like one of his Magic cards, one of my favorite illustrations in the entire game.
Really
So it's yeah, and it was a big deal back then. Um, but yeah, I guess there's a disconnect between some of his older work and then some of his newer stuff that looks much like what he did on Masterpieces. His older Magic cards you would not recognize from like the cell sheet.
interesting. Oh,
Mhm.
well, okay, cool. I tell you what is interesting. I noticed that you know this because I think one of the pieces arrived with you. But Greg Hildebrandt has been doing this daily
Mhm.
kind of sale throughout the year. I think they've called it 365 days of gratitude or something
Yep.
like
Yep.
that. And I didn't realize that Greg had, or maybe even Greg and Tim had done magic art in the
Greg and
past.
Tim did a lot of Magic art together.
Really?
And Greg has even recently continued to do some pieces just by himself. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
like a lot, like 3 digits worth of cards, probably.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Let me look real quick.
I was going to say I'll pull some of them up actually because one of the great things about it. Let me just view this in
Yeah.
a browser window and then I will share the
Unique
screen.
art. Looks like with just Hildebrandt not breaking them out, 169 give or take. So
Oh my goodness.
that's
Yeah, that's
that's a that's a
prolific.
fair few.
Yeah,
But even Greg has recently, even in the last year, has had 2 or 3 cards come out,
yeah.
just by himself, special promotional stuff.
I just thought I'd have a look. So this is what
Mhm.
you get from Greg's site, Spiderweb Art
Mhm.
Gallery. You can get in these daily emails, and each day throughout the year, they're basically selling to collectors all of the sketches, preliminaries, roughs, even some more finished pieces like the Black Cat that I purchased.
Mhm.
And yeah, each day they put it out. So 365 days of gratitude is how they refer to it. So, and this is, I think, the second or third one now where you've seen, preliminary sketches
Yep. Yep.
come out. You'll be probably familiar with the original of this. I just think it's wonderful that this crossover was always there, but I never realized it.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of if you start to look really, really deep, even in like the Fleer Ultra Avengers set, there are 4 or 5 artists that did original art for that set that are Magic artists.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
yeah,
I mean, I've never seen the finished ones of these, so I've no idea what I'm kind of weirdly, if I know the original, I kind of know what I'm working back from in my
sure,
mind.
sure.
So, some of them are
These
gnarly looking images. What's
th
that?
these are a lot of like that card came out in 2005. I was in high school.
Right.
2005, I think. So yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
recognize some of these.
Okay.
Just,
Look at
these
that. I
would be
mean,
super, super, super early in his process.
it's just candles. It's a,
Hmm.
it's a, it's a beast made of candles. Have you ever seen the film, Japanese anime one, Totoro?
I'm familiar with Totoro.
Yeah.
Not super familiar, but yes.
I watched it. My daughter watched it at school, and then she came home raving about it. And then my wife watched it with her, and I watched it with her. And there's something in that called the cat bus.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the cat
Yeah.
bus?
Vaguely, yes.
It's freaking me out. I mean, I know it's a kind of on the kids level that film, and she loves it. But it's like, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, go and check out the cat bus. Just Google cat bus. But yeah, and he does these more finished pieces here, like the
Hmm.
which I don't know if he does specially for the sale. I'm not sure what the process is with that. And there's some prelim Spider-Man stuff there that's still available. Some aliens playing musical instruments. Um, yeah, it's really good. Anyway, But enough about the Hildebrandt. Shall we talk about Masterpieces 2023? Let me get the
Yes,
sell sheet up. Let's go through the sell
let's
sheet.
do
And
it.
what I've done, so what we're going to do, we're going to go through the sell sheet. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I've deliberately, well, no, partly out of necessity. I've been crazy busy with work and all other stuff going on, so I haven't really had time to look at any of this stuff or give it the attention that I want it to.
Hmm.
So I've waited until now to look through the sell sheet properly and actually read it, and to actually look at the artwork. Although I've obviously scrolled past it, but I've not stopped and taken it in and looked at it. So, and I wanted to hold that because I wanted my reaction now to be
Sure.
as fresh as possible, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, so forgive me if this is stuff that it might be obvious or you might have heard been talked about before. I don't care. So let me. You've probably been pouring all over it, haven't you?
I have, yes.
You
It's
have, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't help it.
yeah. No, it's fair. It's fair enough, right? Where's my screen? There we go. Right, let's share this. Right, we're going in.
Yes.
Um,
Perfect.
so Marvel Masterpieces presents Dan dos Santos. Um, now, I a lot of people have. I know that there's been a lot of commentary over the kind of the look of his art and how how it looks almost digital. Um, but it's oil paint, isn't it?
It's all oils, every
Mm.
single one of them. That's a requirement for masterpieces. It has to
Yeah,
be painted traditionally, so
yeah,
it's not digital.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just incredibly smooth.
yeah. I mean, it's. Oh, listen. I mean, it's smoother than an otter's pocket. Look at it. But that storm is just gorgeous. I love the kind of almost luminescence of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and the eyes as well. It's just that light in the eyes that just kind of caps it for me. Um, but it's cool. And look at him there with his paintings in the background.
Yep.
Check that out. Check
Yep.
that out. Right, let's go. Let's go. Let's have a look. So, it's not smooth scrolling. It's just going a page at the time. So we have got the usual shizzle that you would get in a masterpieces set. A 90 card base set with the serial numbered tiers, gold ink foil Facsimile. So that's the gold signature series.
Yep.
The numbered color foil parallels. So I imagine that'll be the purple
Yep.
and the
Luke Cage
orange.
purple, Jubilee
Yeah,
and orange.
yeah. And then the artist autograph parallel. So that's the Silver Spectrum autographs they've been known as
And it looks like
previously.
there's a green that they've added, and I'm guessing the Modoc is red, so the one of ones, but maybe it looks like another new parallel, I
Let's
think.
have a butcher's. Well, I'm trying to zoom in, but this newfangled Adobe that I've got on my computer won't let me do so. Um, there we go. Oh my goodness me. Right. Let's move around. It's doing something a bit weird. I'm not going to lie to you, Donny. I've no idea what it's doing right now. There we go. Right, I've zoomed right in here. So let's have a butcher's at some of these pieces. People always get confused when I say have a butcher's. So I'm
Yeah,
going to say it now.
I know it, but
Yeah, you know it, but I
only
think
because I
you
was
asked
confused
me.
the first time I
You
did.
asked me, yeah. So having a butcher's is a butcher's hook. Look, it's rhyming slang for have a look, basically. So let me zoom out just one tiny little bit. Lovely. I'll figure out how to drive this thing sooner or later. Okay, so Spidey, Black Panther. Now, Black Panther looks so smooth. I almost thought it was a female version of Black Panther when I first saw it. I'm not going to lie to you. But I do love that background
Hmm.
on that and that
Hmm.
perspective looking up.
Yeah,
Um,
with
so I imagine it's Wakanda
that would be
behind him.
my guess too.
Hmm. But let's talk about this Spidey because this is different
It
to
is
what we've
different,
seen before.
but it's you've anybody that's read my work about Dave stuff and putting narratives into a painting. When we get two of them on here, I mean Dan put one, two, three, four, five different storylines
Yeah,
into why Spider-Man puts on the mask. I mean
yeah,
it's pretty impressive, and we could see in that first page this is a big painting. I mean he had to paint it big.
yeah. Yeah, it's just the detail of it. I love. I
Hmm.
mean, the Green Goblin's face is terrifying for a
Yep.
start.
Yep.
Um, and I love that I've always Spidey can sometimes be proportionally different to what I mentally see Spidey as in my head.
Hmm.
But that I always equate Spidey's physique with that of those gymnasts you see at the Olympics,
Sure. Sure.
because that's the kind of
Yeah.
thing he does.
Right.
So it feels right for that. Um, the Marvel Masterpieces wording is cleverly positioned there to cover any impropriety. But yeah, I've just noticed the Doctor Octopus claw just on the left as well.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
Um, it's great. I love it. You could look at it for ages and still see stuff. And the buildings are remarkably low for New York, but maybe they're one of the suburbs because he does live in Queens.
He's right. I think it's just a way to position him in the city more or less
Mm,
than it being super, super realistic. Because
mm,
like when we
mm.
talked to Tom, you can't actually have any real buildings. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
they'll clip him out of there.
Yeah,
So,
of course, of course. But I like it because Spidey's normally in the air in some sort of aerial pose,
Yep.
or very occasionally he's doing what Black Panther's doing, which is brooding on a rooftop somewhere,
Right.
which
Right.
is kind of a Batman style vibe. But no, I dig that a lot. And I really like the Luke Cage as well. Um, yeah, Sweet Christmas is what I'm going to say on that one. He's even got the name on the belt. He's even got the name on the belt.
Yep. Yep.
It's a lovely
There's
detail.
there's a lot of little Easter eggs
Yeah,
that we'll get to see really when it comes out in print.
yeah.
This looks like there's some stuff on the bricks and some stuff in the sign, and there's people's faces in the
There
window.
are, yeah.
Like,
What
and
shop is that? Let's have a look.
Dan wouldn't have had to do any of that, but
No,
like it adds so much when you
it's
get that little
nice.
extra detail.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. Right, let's scroll down a bit. Right, I know there's Jubilee there. I'm going to go to the Modoc first because Modoc. Have you seen the new Ant-Man movie?
I've not seen it, no.
Okay. Um, well, spoilers. Modoc's in it.
I knew that. I knew
Okay,
that much, but
good,
yeah,
good.
but I
All
haven't
right.
seen it yet. It's on Disney
Um,
Plus now, so soon.
it is. It is. Yeah, that's how I saw it because I don't get to go. I don't get to go out much anymore. Um, but you'll get that. You'll get to know that come October. So yeah, I like it a lot. I kind of like how weird Modoc is as a character. Just the general concept of it is just
Hmm.
so kind of out there. Um, and I've got a slight affinity to it because Andre Orsh, bless him, drew me as Modoc a few years ago. Have you seen that piece?
I don't think I have.
Oh mate, I'll show you afterwards. It's hilarious. So thank you, Dre. Um, but no, I really like that, and I love the perspective of it. But I really like the people, the kind of almost under mind control, um, like
This
Village
is
of the
neat.
Damned
This
style.
is neat too, because with the parallel, now obviously it's a one of one red, so there's only going to be one of it, but it matches the little mind control thing
Mm,
and the people's eyes with the border on the outside,
mm,
which is that's just fun card
mm.
design. Some cards just really work in a
Yeah,
certain parallel, and that's one of them, which
yeah,
is probably why it's on the sell sheet.
yeah, probably, yeah. What I do like about this is the border design has always been fairly subtle for
Hmm.
masterpieces.
Yep.
This year feels more so. I'm not sure how pulled back it is, but it does feel very subtle, but enough
Hmm.
to be able to obviously differentiate because that's how they do it.
Sure.
Um, that Jubilee is gorgeous. I imagine that's an orange,
Yeah, that's what it
legendary
looks like.
orange.
Yep. Hmm.
I'm just checking out what the details are in there. It's great. I love it. I've not seen Jubilee. Don't think seen Jubilee done this way before. She's usually a little bit kookier, maybe quite younger as well.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not massively familiar with all of her looks, but
I'm not either.
did Dave do Jubilee in
Nope.
Masterpieces 2020?
Nope. He did not.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's your boy Mysterio. I
Yeah.
say your boy because you went deep on Mysterio for Masterpieces 2020, didn't you?
I did go really deep on Mysterio
How
for
deep did you
Masterpieces
go?
2020.
How deep did you go? Tell
Uh
everyone.
as as deep as you could have possibly gone.
Without coming out the other side.
That
Okay.
that will that will be an article coming up, but
Okay.
preview. Um, I have the Mysterio base painting, and the prelim and the transfer sketch was a gift from Dave.
Oh,
And just recently the one of one Red Spectrum arrived.
yes.
So that
Round of
that
applause.
that quest is done. And I'll get to show the sketches because they haven't been in any sketch card showcases yet. So
Oh, interesting.
there's
Okay.
40, 45, 40 something Mysterio sketches from 2020 that have been squirreled away in
What?
this binder. Yeah.
What?
Mm.
You dark horse, you.
Yep.
You kept that
Yep.
quiet. I didn't know you were making that many. See, I don't do that. I don't tend to add sketches when I'm rainbowing because I mean occasionally I'll do, but generally, excuse me, sorry, generally speaking for me it's about the different like, iterations of the same image.
Right. Sure. So
Um, but I know some people do like go for sketches to go along with the rainbow as well, and that's
and
deep.
I've done that for most of the art that I've collected for sets,
Right.
but it just so happened that I was able to get a physical case of 2020 before prices got crazy
Right.
bones. The first box I opened, the first sketch I opened was a Mysterio sketch.
Oh well.
And I was like, well, it's on now. Like that's I don't make the rules. It just is. And it's one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, that was kind of the one that started. But Dan's done Mysterio completely differently than Dave did, and
Mm,
it's really cool because we have
mm,
narrative again
mm,
versus more of a portrait. You got Mysterio
mm.
and Spider-Man's being framed. If you look up at the top left, you've got the the burglar and
Oh
then
wow,
the
yes.
the knife
Yeah.
from whatever crime of theft he's committed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Mysterio's framing Spider-Man.
Wow. Oh, I've ultra zoomed
Hello,
here.
Modoc.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, that was slightly too much zoom. Oh yeah, look up there in the
Hmm.
top corner. Look at that detail. I mean, listen, I know this PDF's obviously not designed to be zoomed in quite this much, so we are losing some
Yeah.
of the definition here, which is probably not fair on your
Yeah.
artwork, Dan. So I will zoom out, but you're right. It's all those details that
And
I see. I knew you'd pulled all over this,
yeah,
really.
and you still have like the camera lights. You see the stars.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's still a movie set,
yeah.
which is it's cool. And I don't know what these green parallels are. I don't know what they'll be numbered to or
No, no,
if
that's
they're,
new.
unnumbered or we haven't seen green well, other than in Fleer Ultra had like that secondary base set that was green that was unnumbered.
Of
So
course, yeah.
maybe it's that.
Keep talking. I'm just going to mute for 1 second because no one needs
Sure.
to hear me blow my nose. I
Yeah,
love how I say keep talking and you just shut up.
that's it. That's done.
Oh, thanks for that. I'll edit that out. Sorry, folks. Anyway, um,
Just buzz that part right out.
yeah, we'll buzz. Well, but blitz that right out. What will probably happen is I'll forget, and people will be listening to this years down the line, going, "What a
Like
dirty
just
bugger!" Right, here we go. So, Canvas Gallery. Now, Canvas Gallery normally runs cards 91 through 100. It's
100.
always
Yep.
annoyed me that it's 10 cards. Always annoyed me that it's 10 cards. Um, but generally speaking, it usually mirrors the characters that are in tier 4, which is cards 82 to 90. You usually get a different version of that
Really?
character. Yeah.
Huh.
I can't remember for sure if that's the case with
2020 was not
2020.
like that. No.
No, it was for 2018 and 2016.
Okay,
Because
2020 was different.
yeah, well that's the thing. I still haven't finished 2020, so but I know. But no, 20 and I liked it for 2016 and 2018 because it meant that if you didn't get a tier 4, and let's face it, not everyone could,
Sure.
you could still get a visual representation of some of those characters in the set.
Right.
That's why I really liked it. But yeah, no, 2020, obviously they did something slightly different with it. But this year, the Canvas Gallery. Now, Canvas Gallery has always had a gold,
Hmm.
which is number 299,
Yep.
and it's always had a red, which usually I think is 25.
It's 25. Yep.
Yeah. But this year they've got more going on. They've got pink and they've got green as well. So no idea what the numbering is going to be on those.
And it also says Gold Spectrum, which is likely a one of one canvas too.
No, I think it. I think no. I think the gold is
Oh,
the
the
of
gold's the
99.
99. Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wonder if they'll
What?
do a one of one.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that I'm going to say this now, and they did this on 2020. The one of one in 16 and 18 was always called a red spectrum.
Hmm.
They've started to use that word for the parallels on the canvas gallery, and it just confuses
Oh,
people because you end up with a
yeah.
different red spectrum. A red spectrum has always been
It's
the one
been
of one
one
card.
of one. Sure. Yeah.
But people started referring to red spectrums for the canvas on 2020, and it did
Yeah.
confuse a few people because it's like, well,
Sure.
hang on a minute, it's a red canvas. Where's the word spectrum coming from?
Right.
Um, so I think that's just my personal thing. It just niggles me a little bit. But these have always been incredible in hand. The gold. I never had
Mhm.
a red. The golds I actually had a full set of for 18, which I've since sold. And I was probably six of them in on 2020 before I bailed on that because
Right.
Spider-Man got too expensive.
Yeah.
Because everything just went, and I was like, no, I'm out.
Hmm.
Um, but that's one of two caps that we've seen. The other artwork
Yes.
being the one with the cap on the poster with someone saluting up to it, which we'll come on to in a minute. There's the Storm again. You've got Magneto in there. Now, who's that on the top right? Is that Black Widow?
I think it's Black Widow. Yeah. Yep. I like that he did these as portraits. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're canvas gallery and they're framed in that
Yes.
ornate thing. They're literally portraits, and then they get framed in a trading card as a portrait, which is
Mm.
I think is a really neat touch
Yeah.
to do it that way.
It is good. It is good. Yeah, because some of the canvas have been quite detailed in the past, and so when they
Hmm.
get into when the border comes in, you do lose some.
You're right. It starts to look like a forced thing. This looks like
Yeah.
the cards. He
Mm.
painted the canvas gallery as if because Dan's familiar with Marvel and trading cards, so
Mm.
he knew what they were going into it,
Yeah.
which is neat.
Yeah. 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 Which is good. I should say it's interesting seeing the reception when he made the announcement a couple of weeks back. Joe Jusko was one of the first people to comment, and apparently they spoke very, very early on, almost as soon
That's
as Dan got the gig, I believe.
that's pretty cool.
So when Joe was telling us last year that he'd seen some of the pieces, there's no smoke being blown there. He
Right,
actually
right.
had seen
Hey,
some of
yeah,
the
he
pieces.
had. Yeah, sure.
So I love that. I've always respected the way that Joe welcomes and supports anyone coming into that really elite club. I mean,
Sure, sure.
by the nature of it, it would always be an elite um,
Hmm.
group of people because it's masterpieces. You're not going to have Sammy Scribble and his crayons coming in, are you? There's always going to be someone top of their game.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that. What I love about Bat Widow here is that the light through the hair at the back.
Hmm.
It's beautiful, and it really
Hmm.
lends itself to that red border as well.
It does, yeah. Yeah, I tell you, Upper Deck did a very good job of picking the right color combinations on these to
Mm,
as a sell sheet.
mm, mm.
The cards look good.
Yeah, they do. They do look good. Right, let's go to the next page. What are we going to see on the next page? You already know this because you probably memorized this. Right, let's go. There we go. Way now the preliminary art. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited about these preliminary arts because
Hmm.
I tell you why. They look like sketch cards.
They do.
They look like the OG late
Yep.
90s sketch graphs.
They are straight up pencil sketches.
Mm. Um, and I've got a lot of time for that. Which is yeah, it is. I love it. I love it. Now who is the character on the left?
That is, I think, like cross-referencing to the checklist is Deathbird, who
Deathbird.
hasn't
Yes.
been like she was in the Metal X-Men set, but not really a masterpieces character. But that's probably going to be knowing how Dan paints women, and in that like it looks
Mm,
like it's similar to like the canvas gallery portrait style.
mm,
That's
mm.
probably going to be a phenomenal looking card.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, the Craven I love. I mean, let's face it, we've been spoilt for Cravens. Every masterpiece at 16 was incredible, Joe.
Mhm.
Simone's was a wonderfully vicious, visceral piece.
Yep.
Obviously there's Dave's with Pat
With
King,
Pat. Yep.
modeling,
Yep.
yeah. And this one is got a lot more stillness to it. than some of those early ones. But I love that. I mean, who's to tell? I mean, we haven't seen the final. Maybe it
Sure.
has
Yeah.
got more going on. But um, one of the things I've loved about Craven is he's always got this. It's that potential for danger when he's still,
Mm-hmm.
by the very nature of what that
Yep.
character is,
Yep.
um, which is cool. And I love the look of these. I really love the look of these. Um, and Squirrel Girl. I mean, I don't know what you can say about Squirrel Girl. But
That's a
it's
lot of
interesting with
squirrels.
she does. And did you know that her sidekick squirrel apparently is called Tippy?
I did not know that. No.
No, I didn't know that either. It's one of those bits of knowledge I'm not sure I need in my head. Um, but Deaf Bird, it's interesting. With 2020, obviously you had Dave's deep cuts. I mean, Dave went. There were some deep cuts in that,
Sure. Sure.
wonderfully executed ones as well. So I think this is going to be Dan's deep cuts
I'm
this time
I'm
around.
sure that, well, at least hopefully he got the opportunity to do kind of the same thing, because it gives you characters you'll
Yeah,
never really get to see painted this way.
I
Like
know.
you can pull comic, you know, pictures of anybody obviously for
Mm,
those, for the comic book sets, but
mm,
uh
mm,
to 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 get something like that in a masterpieces is really
mm.
cool.
So we've got the metallurgy, which is this is the second masterpieces set they've been in. Now
Hmm.
with 2020 they were hand numbered, so it's interesting that these are hard stamped this time. Limited to 25.
Hmm.
Um, these, I mean, you know, I've been quite a fan of these metal cards in whatever set they appear.
Hmm.
I'm regretting selling my Master of Magnetism ones from Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018, um, only because I'm less of an X-Men person, so I like
Sure.
the kind of the variety of it. I've got the one for Black Cat from 2020, and I've got some of them from Spider-Man Metal Universe. And what I love about them is they are the colors on them are so vibrant and so rich.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
obviously a different print process to whatever goes onto the paper,
Yeah.
and they pop.
I don't know if it's like the like a dye sublimation or whatever it is, but they look really good and they feel nice too. You know, it's
Yeah.
masterpieces stock always feels good, but then you get a little bit of weight to it, and
Mm,
they're nice. They really are, and these look like they're gonna print just as nicely as years
mm,
past.
yeah. And it lends itself again to the color scheme and the palette in the way that Dan's work looks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I, I think it was Matt Fuller saw a comment in a group. He said it's nice to see a picture of Professor X where he's not doing this,
Yeah,
putting
no,
fingers
it
to his
is
forehead,
nice.
or
Yeah.
doing that,
Uh-huh.
kind of vibe. Where's the camera?
Yep.
There it is, like that. And I know I've kind of got the hairstyle for it, but
No, you do. You put you in a suit and you're right there.
put me a suit in a wheelchair. Yeah, I love how you avoided saying wheelchair there, so thank you for that. Um, but Ultron, I mean Ultron's gnarly. I rewatched Age of Ultron recently. And I'd not seen it since it came out, what, 10 years ago now? And it's much, much more enjoyable than I
So,
remember.
this is probably an unpopular opinion, but that is one of my favorite Marvel movies. I love the MCU Ultron with James Spader as the voice. And
Yes.
I just do. I love that character. I love how he did it.
Mm,
And that movie got a real bad rap when it came out, but I
yeah.
rewatched it last week, I think it
Yeah.
was on. It
I
was
actually,
great.
it holds
I
up.
love it.
It really holds up. And I
Mhm.
actually think it's interesting. With some of the more recent Marvel movies have been, I haven't seen Guardians 3 yet, but I found them. Hmm, you were very aware that they were cogs in a machine moving a bigger story forward, and
Sure.
you didn't. You kind of, in hindsight, I guess you could see that with the movies from before, but now it feels like you're kind of expecting it to be the case.
Right.
Like
Sure.
this is setting
Sure.
up this, this is setting up this,
Yeah.
and they were like that before. But Ultron is so brilliant in that it sowed so many seeds for all the stories that followed.
Hmm.
I mean, it really did lay a lot of groundwork for it. So yeah, I dig it an awful lot. Anyway, let's move on. So what we got next? Let's scroll. Right, I've not seen any of these apart from the middle two until this very moment because, like I said,
Right.
I didn't look. I
Right.
didn't look at this sheet. Now, I'm not going to go where you think I'm going to talk about first. I want to talk about Rocket Raccoon. Because look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that image. Is that like a teenage rocket raccoon or
it's
something? Hang on a minute. Let
pretty
me
cool.
let me right, is it gonna let me scroll? I don't know what my PDF thing is doing. Are you gonna let me scroll? There we go. Let's have a look at this guy. Wow. I I don't think I've seen a rocket like that because he's
No,
kind of
it's cool.
yeah, what's it doing? What Donny, help me. What's it doing? I can't drive. There we go. That's better.
All right, there you
There
are.
we are. Right. Oh, stop it. It's just all going so well. I'm sure there's a continuous scrolling option I can do somewhere on this thing, but you know what? Sod it. Um, I, yeah, it's just the fact that he kind of looks like he's got. I mean, he's got a big ass gun. Look at the bullets around him.
Yep, it's got all kinds of
Um,
shell casings and
it looks like John McClane out of Die Hard. That's it.
it's cool. It's a neat version of Rocket. I don't know, it is. It's cool. He's
It
like
is.
sitting up on his tail.
Now,
Yeah,
obviously, they've mocked it up with the lines because it's going to be on the lenticular Mirage. So I don't
right,
know what the other characters are going to be on this. I imagine maybe there's a Guardians of the Galaxy one.
right.
Maybe the one on the left with Beta Ray Bill or Beta Ray Bill, or however you pronounce it,
Yeah,
um, is going to be maybe a Thor related one.
probably. Yeah, that would make
And
sense.
yeah, and the middle one, obviously, we've got Miles Morales. There is an image of that. I just spotted him up there at the top. Look, there's so many
Yeah.
details in these.
It's a comic book panel. You have the
Yeah,
top, it's just but he's
it's
literally coming
great.
out of the comic book page.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm digging this. I'm digging this a lot. Beta Ray Bill, interestingly, only called Bill at the bottom
Yeah,
on
just
that one.
Bill. Yeah, that's
Just Bill.
interesting.
Hello, it's Bill. Right, Bill. Right, where do you want it? Where do you want it? Over there. Okay, good. It's like the guy who comes to deliver your fridge. I don't. I have zero knowledge or affinity with Beta Ray Bill. I
I know
care
nothing
not for the
about him
character.
either.
Yeah, I
Yep.
care not for him at all. Um, and quite frankly, my life is too short to be finding out more about him right now. But it's a beautiful, beautiful image. Now let's scroll down.
There's your girl.
There she is. Now, interestingly, that I believe that's how she's supposed to look, upside down. Although I have a feeling she might be facing the wrong way. But there is also an image out that we'll look at in a minute where she's the other way round.
Hmm?
But the lettering is exactly as it is there. So, but my understanding is she's supposed to be upside down, and the original painting does have her in a very similar concept to
Hmm.
that of 2020 with the lasers and the kind of burglarizing somewhere.
Yeah, that's what the other one looked like. Yep.
But I'm gonna say this now as evidenced by Dagger, and Dagger is a character I could seriously PC if I had the money because I love Dagger. Cloak and Dagger are from the period of Spider-Man where I was really getting into Spider-Man, like as a kid, like getting into
Sure.
it, and when I
Hmm.
discovered Black Cat. So it could have gone either way. It could have gone Black Cat or Dagger for me. But Dagger always had some bloke hanging around with a big cloak. So whereas Black Cat was kind of on her own. So I took it that she was more available. Um, but anyway, preserved amber. So these are new. These are new to masterpieces.
Yep.
Now they did an amber parallel for Clear Watch Spider-Man 2017.
Okay, I knew I'd seen it before, but I
Hmm.
didn't collect back then, so it was familiar, but I couldn't remember where from.
Yeah, they weren't massively loved. I mean, some people dug them, but they weren't. Yeah, they weren't the kind of the top hit. So when you think of Marvel Black Diamond, you've got your diamond facets, which are the film cell cards. They're probably the runts of the litter for Black
Sure,
Diamond.
sure.
They're still beautiful cards, but
Right.
they're just not everyone's first choice. So the preserved amber was kind of that of Fleer Ultra Spider-Man for a lot of collectors. Um, that and yeah, and that's the other thing. The preserved amber was not original artwork for Fleer Ultra Spider-Man
Gotcha.
2017.
Yeah.
These, however, um, yeah, I mean, he nails the hair.
Yeah.
He nails it.
Dan knows how to paint women at the very, very, very top of fantasy
Yeah.
illustrators that are working today. These I'd noticed these have I guess maybe the other ones were like that too. They have the backgrounds stripped out from them,
Yes.
which I don't love just because I like to situate the character in the scene, and Dan does a really, really good job of that, from what
Mm-mm-mm.
we've seen so far. So that's it's a little jarring for me, but yeah, you do get to see hair in all three of these, which is really, really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Well, that one's fire, but
Still hair.
fire hair.
Not that
Now,
we know anything about hair,
um,
but
so yeah, let's not talk about that. What I'm taking from this is that this will be a parallel throughout the whole set, throughout the whole 1 to 90.
and it says
Um,
they're serial numbered,
and
so
they're serial numbered as well. So I don't know what their serial number two. That may be out there. I just simply don't know it right now. I'm sure someone will probably tell me. Um, if not the passage of time, because that's the thing with this set. I kind of got to the point where I was like, listen, it'll come. Just be patient.
mhm.
It'll get there. Um, um, but everyone's getting very, very excited about it, and rightly so. I mean,
It sounds like it's coming fairly quickly too, based on like some people have posted those images from the distributors of like order dates in
yeah.
July, which is like now.
Order dates. I believe the cutoff for one of them that I've actually got. Oh, I've actually got it open on my screen, but I don't think I can jump to it because I think I'm just in this window. Um, is this week is the order cutoff, and then they've got a date of the 30th of August. Um,
Yeah,
so who knows? I mean, the last set came out in September, so it kind of fits.
it
Um,
does. Yeah, and Dave announced in July, so that would be
that's right.
about right.
That's right. So yeah, so cool. So we've got some amber. So we've already got an extra. We've already got an extra parallel there. We've got the amber ones. We think we've got a green as well for the
Mhm.
base set. So there's two extra base set parallels there. Okay, what's going on? Right, there's loads of stuff going on this page. Let me just. Right, there's that second image of Captain America that we were talking about,
Mhm. Mhm.
which I will zoom in on now that I seem to have figured out how to drive it a bit better. It's like someone trying to get used to driving a car with a gear, a stick shift, I think you call them. And they're crunching the gears. So imagine that every time I'm trying to adjust this. Um, I think this is really cool, and it really kind of pays homage to his World War II origins, I guess.
Mhm.
With,
Yeah,
with the
it's him, but he's on the poster,
yeah,
which is neat. It's like a scene inside a scene.
mm. Which is what Captain America kind of was.
Mhm.
Back in the 40s, it was
Yeah.
propaganda. It was,
Yep.
homegrown propaganda. You don't quite get it with the bordering here, but that is a poster on a brick wall.
Yeah.
There is stuff written on it, and there's other kind of bill stickers on the wall as well. Um, but yeah, they're very period-looking children as well. I would suggest, given the
Right.
suspenders he's called them.
Suspenders. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yep.
call them braces in the UK. Belt
Interesting.
belt and braces. The expression belt and braces means you've got a belt around your waist
Okay.
and you've got
Yeah.
the braces.
Braces.
So
Huh.
that's what they're called, braces.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So if anyone says belt and braces, that's what it means. It means, you're double the protection of your trousers falling down, or your pants, as you guys call them. Um, why do you have so many different words?
Why do you have
The
so
thing.
many different
Well,
words?
no, I believe you'll find it's the Queen's English, dear. You guys just mull at
Yeah.
it. Or the King's English as it is now. Um, but yeah, who knows? I don't care. It's just I know when I say pants to people, they think I'm talking about the outer ones, or I'm not. I'm talking about the inner ones. Um, Black Widow versus so Battle Spectrum are back, baby.
Yeah. So
Um,
Spectrum now instead of Spectra, which is interesting and maybe more confusing.
everything's a spectrum. Everything is on the spectrum. It appears with this design now. Taskmaster. You know what? I dig this Taskmaster because it's got Taskmaster is often portrayed in quite I want to say grubby. That's the wrong word, but it's often quite a dark image when
Sure.
Taskmaster is portrayed. And this one's got a lot more brightness to it, and then maybe that's to contrast Black Widow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Um, and she's got the same haircut, so it's obviously,
Yeah, that other image is almost certainly Black Widow.
yeah, yeah. I dig it. But Battle Spectra gems, signed ones. This is new.
Yeah, gems are old, not numbered to 99, I think, but they have not been signed before, so maybe to
Mm.
10?
Yeah, interesting. And this looks like it's got a green bordering on. So, you know what? Why don't I zoom out and see what it actually says? Discovered numbered battle spectra gems parallel. So you got more than one parallel. You got a green parallel, which looks signed.
Gems,
You've got a
yeah.
red one,
Oh,
and you've got looks gold,
a
maybe?
gold one. So I wonder if they did the gold for the one of one like they've done for some of the recent
Ah,
ones, and
possibly.
maybe the 99 is the red and the green is the
Mm,
10.
well,
I'm not
well,
sure.
it would make sense for the red to be the one of one because that fits with the red one of one in the base set.
That's true.
And the
They've started to
gold,
use to gold for some of them though, which is really confusing. But
yeah, I don't know. The gold, I mean, if
like,
it kind of fit with the canvas kind of numbering, it would make
sure,
more sense
sure,
to me.
that would, yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's true.
so the
It,
gold could be 99,
and then the red would be 25 or one of
25,
one.
or one of
Yeah,
one. I don't know. I mean,
I
are
don't
there
know
one of
either.
ones? Who knows? Maybe there isn't one.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but I mean, it would make sense for me if that's the regular, the gold is 99 and the red is 25 because that would fit with the canvas,
Sure,
you
that
know.
would make sense. Yes.
And then the green is obviously a signed one, so that might be 10, it might even be 15 because
Right.
Jusco did sign 15 of the buybacks, I want to say. I think the buybacks
Oh,
were
the
15.
buybacks,
Mm,
right?
yeah. Um, thought just having a sit down after a heavy day of doing stuff. Um, I can't see what's written on that hammer because it's upside down, but
I
um,
th I think because Dan shared this full image on his Patreon, which people should join if you haven't, because
yep,
it's really super great,
we
and
will
you're going
put
to
a
get to
link in the
see
show notes.
all of the stuff. It's the saying that whoever should hold this hammer will have the power of Thor.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
believe is what it says,
Yeah, it's
but
usually what it says. Yeah.
much more eloquently than I just stumbled through
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was pretty good.
it.
The wasp. That's cool. I dig
It
that.
is cool.
I'm not quite sure what's going on in the background. I will try and zoom in again. Here
Yeah,
we go with the crunch of gears.
and I'm guessing this probably speckles and kaleidoscopes again.
Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, I only went for the regular holofoil. I did actually pull some. I think the speckles were 99, the kaleidoscope is 25. If
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember correctly, it's
that's
one or
what
the
it
other.
was
Yeah.
before. Yep, yep.
Yeah. I didn't actually care for the kaleidoscope or the speckles. I know people went nuts for them, but it's never been something I really dug personally.
When I opened my physical case, it was like instead of getting oranges, I got speckles, which was fine, but they're
Okay.
not really my jam either. And I think
Mm,
I opened one kaleidoscope that I traded fairly
mm,
quickly. It's just
mm.
they're cool, but I kind of skipped out on that. She's I guess small flying out of something
Yeah.
larger, but we would
Yeah.
have to wait to see what it is.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I've just realised why I didn't get on with them so well. It's because the speckle and the kaleidoscope effect kind of got in the way of the art for me.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think that's why the issue. It's one of the reasons I started going for the gold um, gallery on the canvas with 2018 was the base canvas have this kind of texture to them, which makes them the canvas in the first place. But also, it tends to dampen the coloring a little bit, just the nature of
Okay.
that service. So when you went to the gold spectrum, although you lost, so gold gallery for the canvas,
Uh-huh.
although it wasn't actually called canvas, it was called gold gallery. That's it, because it wasn't
Okay.
on a canvas finish. It was on a gloss
Oh,
smooth finish,
interesting.
and the colors were brighter. So that's why if you want the Simone, especially the 2018 ones, if you can get the gold gallery parallel of the canvas, the artwork just has that much more vibrancy because his work was
Interesting.
quite dark anyway.
Sure.
And that's why I started going after the Dave's ones because Dave's work was reproduced and it was a brighter palette across the
Hmm.
board anyway.
Hmm.
But I kind of ran out of steam with it, like I said, so I didn't end up finishing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the canvas gallery does it's not the best. It's kind of does the opposite of what the metallurgy does in terms of the artwork. Instead of enhancing it and making it really vibrant, it just kind of dulls it a little bit,
Right. Right.
which is a shame. So maybe this year, I think that's just the nature of the canvas finish on a
It
thick card.
it might be.
Mm. Even the Jusco ones were a bit they're just a bit matte as well. So hence canvas. Right, here we go. So I've not seen this Daredevil before. Wow. Okay, let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. Now I'm on record as saying I think that Dave Palumbo's Daredevil is possibly one of the best ones I've ever seen.
I would also agree with you.
Just the use of the negative space on it. And hang on a
Hmm.
minute, my computer is catching up. Come on, you stupid machine. There we go. Um, let's have a closer look at that Daredevil. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. I
Yep.
mean, you can't really see the red of his costume there because it's almost Black Panthery.
Hmm.
But the look at the circles around. They're kind of
Yep.
almost like heartbeats,
Very,
aren't
very
they?
similar
Yeah.
idea of the sonar from the top, but yet still different enough
Yeah.
from Dave's that it's a very unique image in and of itself.
I love that. I love that. And the red is used and really pops with the eyes and with the DD on his chest.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's good. And then Domino. So this is the first what if we're seeing.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
what ifs I used to really dig the what ifs and I used to collect them, but I kind of I offboarded them simply because sometimes I felt that they were some of them really lend themselves to them. So I'll tell you the one from 2020 that really worked was Spider Gwen or Ghost Spider.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that
Sure.
artwork worked with the
Hmm.
conceit of putting it in the frame of the original issue.
Right.
Um, Whereas some of them just really don't work very well at all.
I like the What If series a lot too. Even
Mm.
like when it came to the What If autographs, like I started picking up some of those just
Oh wow.
because
Okay.
they looked really nice. Now I've since traded, them all but my
Mm.
Mysterio ones. But like even this card, as much as Dan paints backgrounds, this doesn't appear like it's a background removed. It's just
Mm.
like he just didn't need it to show Domino, which is
Mm.
really, really
Mm.
cool. And then we get all of her. It's a phenomenal painting.
Yeah. No, it is lovely. It is lovely. I know Nathan Braben, True Blue Collectibles is a Domino fan, and
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he's very, very excited about
I'm
this.
sure he
So
is too,
I'm just
yeah.
going to mute my phone. I don't think it picks up on the mic because I've got a noise cancelling mic, but s people are messaging me, which is great. Um, what we got down here, I will read some of the words on here in a minute, but at the moment, I'm just looking at the artwork. So this is a Battle Spectra gem, Miles Morales versus the Green Goblin.
But this is another Gems parallel. Is this
This is the
this is
green one, but without the signature.
I think it's a different green.
Is it?
This is the gems from like what we had like the in past masterpieces years, and the
Okay.
other
Yeah,
one
yeah,
looks
yeah.
like PMG green
Yeah.
signed. I think it's another version.
That's a gnarly goblin. That's terrifying, that goblin,
Yeah.
actually. I like Miles's sneakers. They're
It's
brilliant. That's really cool.
it's a very goblin-y goblin.
It's a very good goblin-y goblin. Um, Good. Okay, let me zoom out a bit because there's writing on here that's probably worth looking at because it gives us information about what's going on in the set. So, um, now previous masterpieces from 2016, so modern, what currently masterpieces, it's always been 3 cards a pack, and I think it was 12 packs a box because I think it was 36 cards you got in a pack if I remember correctly
Yes. Yep.
in a box.
Yep. Correct.
So because they're thick, they're premium ones. The metallurgy won't be that thick. The Mirage generally aren't that thick.
They are, yeah, the regular
Yeah,
stock
and
35.
I imagine the preserved amber will probably be thinner as well.
Okay.
So yeah, just by nature of the how those cards have been in the past. Um, so every pack you get a base card and a premium insert or parallel. Let me move the little window that we're in, or parallel cards. There we go. Box hits on average. We get canvas, battle spectrum, holofoil, or preliminary art. Yeah, because
Makes
preliminary
sense.
art was one per box before.
Yep. They were all, I
Although
think, one per.
we
Usually
did
get one of
actually,
you got one of each, I think.
yeah, no, when we did the box for the podcast channel, I think we got 2 or 3 preliminary art in that box, which I think was an
S-
unusual one.
So from what I just because I watched way too many of the box openings in 2020, they were very like formulaic. You could kind of tell where
Okay.
stuff was. If you open the second preliminary art, there was no like major hit. It
Right.
wasn't a dud box, so to speak, but like if you saw a second preliminary art, then that meant there probably wasn't an auto or a
Uh,
metallurgy or something like that. But you still had a chance at, a good character like in your
mm,
99 or your purple or any of
yeah.
those.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
So
I'm with you. Oh, sorry. It's not you. It's me. And then case hits on average. An autograph parallel. From Dan dos Santos. I don't know if it's and or here. I don't know if this is and or. Um, what I find interesting about this list, actually, let's go through this. Dan dos Santos autograph parallel, Mirage, metallurgy, metallurgy, not lurgy, preserved in amber. Artist autographed is listed as a separate thing.
I don't know what that is. And it's also interesting that I think in 2020 it said like 2 on average, and it was like Mirage and an auto
Mm,
or something
mm,
like that. But there's also no mention of sketches. It says it on the left side on
it
that
does.
additional chase hits,
It
but
does.
are maybe sketches are not one per box this
Well,
time.
I know that there've been enough people say it that it must be true, such as the internet. But I believe that the current kind of thinking is it's not going to be one per box. I
That
think I've seen people saying it could be one per case.
that's a bummer.
So
That was one
yeah,
of the best parts about 2020.
that's one of the best parts about Marvel masterpieces since 2007 was the one
Hmm.
per box.
Yep,
Um, But it lists on the other side additional chase hits, canvas gallery variants, one of one sketch cards. I've just seen something at the bottom which is exciting me. I'll come back to that. Battle Spectrum gems, holofoil parallels, uncut sheet redemption. So they're back.
that's cool.
Good. I always like the cards, the redemption cards on those.
Hmm.
They're actually quite cool in and of
Yeah,
themselves.
they are. Yeah.
I'm still missing a few of those from previous sets, actually. So if anyone's got any spares, give us a shout. Um, I'm shameless, aren't I? Red Spectrum foil-based parallels. And then this is exciting. So redemptions for original paintings. So in 2020, there were two
Hmm.
original
It's
paintings. I think it was,
one in physical boxes and one e-pack.
yeah. Um, you've also got a preliminary art pieces, redemptions. So I've not seen what they look like or what format they are. So hopefully, it may well be out there. May Dan might have already said this on other content, but hoping to ask him. Or comic book sketch covers by Dan dos Santos. So Dave did some of these.
Yep. Yep.
Um, that's exciting. I can't remember how many were done.
I don't remember how many of I want to say 10 of the
Yeah,
comic
I
book
want to say
covers because
10.
they said what the covers were, but only
Yeah,
a handful of them ever turned up.
yeah. I
A
saw the
lot
Black
of
Cat one.
yeah, a lot of the prelims from Dave showed up, but not
Mm.
all of them. I had a spreadsheet where I was tracking what turned up publicly,
Ah, right.
but
Okay. I foolishly started a thread on Marvel Masterpieces, but then completely couldn't keep it up, so
it's it it,
let everyone down.
it became a
Um,
lot. There was such a delay between
yeah,
redemption and that
it
first
was.
shipment.
Yeah, the thing is, I'd done it on 2018 for Simone's, so I
Yeah.
thought, oh, I can do it again for 2020, but then life got in the way. So sorry, everybody. Oh, well, there we go. That's the end of the sell sheet. Shall we have a look at? Let me stop sharing for a sec. And there we are, big on screen again. Let's wave to the audience. Hello, audience.
Hello.
Let's. Grief. Good grief, Ian. Let me get this up on my screen, and we are going to look through. So, there's the stuff that's out there, but our friends at Upper Deck sent me some high-res images of 6 of the pieces that have
Ooh,
been put out there, and I don't think these have been seen as cleanly
that's
as
a
I have here. So let me share my screen, and we will look at them.
that's a spicy tomato
It
or
is a spicy
tomato for you, I
tomato,
guess, but
tomato, tomato, tomato. So this, some of these, I think all of these have been seen. It's just I don't think they've been seen quite as cleanly as this. So first up, we have this one.
ah,
There he is. Um,
Nice.
Now I can properly zoom on this and it won't because, like I said, I've been sent high res. These are about 4 meg per. Now, Dan, Dan, you've been posing for your artwork again, haven't you? This is like old Dave Wizard Palumbo.
Yep. Yep.
So that's clearly Dan dos Santos,
Yep.
with a sans beard, looking rather stoic. He's got a little blanket on his legs. I like the brick. I do
I
like the
love
brick.
the name right in the brick. That's very
Mm,
cool. And
mm,
he's right at the center of the X.
yeah. You know what? I'm a sucker for anyone who does really good brick texture, and
Hmm.
that can't be easy to do.
I can't think it is, yeah.
I mean, look at how. I mean, look. We can zoom right in. I mean, look at this.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure he'll tell us how we do it, and you'll probably understand what he says, but I won't because I'm not, I'm not as connected to art styles and how it happens. I'm just an appreciator of rather than a knowing the technicalities of it. I just think it's alchemy. I love the shadow as well. This shadow that's coming here. So
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I guess it's
maybe there's a massive
that's
hole in the roof, or is it a sentinel? Maybe I don't know. What is it?
no, I think it's just the way
Oh,
he
it's the
used
shadow
the
of him.
yeah, it's his shadow because
Oh,
the light source
okay.
coming
Yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah.
that's where you get the little reflection and
You've
then
got
it's
that
gonna
there.
cast
Yeah,
a
yeah.
shadow.
Yeah, I dig it. There's a shadow there. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's someone who's painting him. No, that's good. I love it. I like this kind of this will be nice on the aluminium.
Hmm. Hmm.
It'll really be nice. Right, let's have a look at the next one, shall we? Let me just get this out of the way. Where's my little arrow? Come on. Come on. Where's my arrow? There's supposed to be an arrow here. Sorry, bear with. Havoc. Wow, look at
Good
that.
stuff. Good
That's
stuff.
nice. So again, like I said, this is out there. It is out there as an image, but this is the proper high res. Yeah, variant. This was called variant cover on the file name. Let's have a close look at this one. Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
I do. I love the what if set.
You're a sucker
Again,
for them, aren't you?
it's bad. It's 2020 was my first year collecting, but I that was the set I finished first.
Really?
Like as far as base sets, yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
like them
yeah.
a lot.
Right, let's go to the next one. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Gallery Magneto. It's interesting. A lot of the characters, this isn't a criticism, it's just an observation. A lot of the characters have got kind of glowing eyes.
Hmm. I guess it's the
Is that a Danism?
it's I don't know that it is necessarily
Yeah,
other than he's
I like it.
I like it too. I guess it's them, it's a way to show somebody being of a different
Powerful.
level of power
I guess so. Yeah,
than
yeah.
just having regular eyeballs.
I think he's got a bit of a. You can see some stubble. I don't think I've
Hmm.
ever seen Magneto. Well, I mean, I've seen it. I think there's images of him with a beard,
Sure.
but that's cool. I appreciate the detail on that one, Dan.
Yep.
Um, this is lovely. This one.
This is cool.
I really love it. Look at all these like deadites, I guess is what I want to call
Yeah,
them. I really like the lightning.
that's good stuff.
Yeah, Hela's such a cool looking character. She really is. I really like the what they did in Thor Ragnarok with that character. It
Hmm.
really, really, really worked because they kept
Yeah.
it so true to her look in the comics.
Yep.
Um, And the Black Diamond base card of Hello is just
Yeah.
phenomenal. It really, really pops.
This looks really
Um,
good as a green too, whatever
yeah,
parallel this ends
whatever
up being,
parallel this
but
one. Yeah.
because of her green and the dead
Mm.
people would be green and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Dan's signature across the middle of it.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. What else? I've got two more, I think. Ah, there he is. That's that Miles one again. This
Hmm.
is so much cleaner than the one that's on the sell sheet.
Yeah. It's so cool how
Look at that
he's literally
pencil. Look at the
he's
pencil.
yep, he's swinging out of the comic book.
Yeah.
Like that's just
It's just the pencil there. It's just genius.
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
what these other little bits are floating around, but yeah, that's cool. I like
That's
it.
neat.
I like it. And then the last one, the last high res one I was sent is your boy Magneto,
That's
which is good.
Mysterio.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mysterio. So I knew it began with M
Mysterio.
and ended with O. So, I wasn't far off. But look, listen, we can get into some of that detail now because look at the
hmm
resolution. Look at
Yep.
this and the
Yep.
webs.
It's a
Yeah,
you have a whole story.
yeah, no, it's
Like a
good.
whole story into a painting
It's
that's
good.
true to the character's backstory, and that's very, very
Yeah,
cool.
I like it.
Very,
I
very
like it a
cool.
lot. These cars just around the bottom here.
hmm It's police cars, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Nice one. Um, right. I have got images of other individual cards that I lifted off Beckett.com. I think we've seen most of them. Let's take a little
Okay,
drive through them.
sure.
They're a little bit smaller.
Yep.
So we've got this is the clean canvas gallery without the border on that one. That's a big ass chunk of block in the middle on
I
this
thought the
one.
same thing, but I
Yeah,
remember the canvas galleries from 2020 had a big
yeah,
giant block
yeah,
at the
yeah,
bottom too, so
yeah,
I guess it's
yeah.
just a different design.
So there's your domino.
That's great.
We've seen that's the Thor that we saw. So most of these are individual images of the ones that were on the cell sheet.
hmm hmm
Ultron. There's the Miles again. Storm with her pink
Yep.
gallery. That's nice. I like that. That looks so cool. That preliminary art. Black Cat again. Now that one. Now that you see, interesting. On the cell sheet, she was the right way up, but now she's
hmm
like the wrong way up.
And the base card though that was floating around on one of those sites, I thought
Oh,
had her this way.
interesting. I haven't seen a base card of it. Yeah,
Maybe unless it was this. I can't remember.
yeah, yeah. The painting's definitely upside down. So who knows? We'll see. I mean, listen, all of these are mock-ups at the moment. None of them are images of the real thing.
hmm
Um, so there's Magneto again. See, that's that cat. I, yeah, I know the paint. I know Dave has shown the painting. So Dan has shown the painting. Apologies, Dan. I'm going to accidentally say Dave a number of times. I'm sure I am. If I get to speak to him at some point and I accidentally call him Dave and you're with me, can you slap me, please?
I will
Okay.
through the screen.
Okay, good. Presser X. Yeah, we've seen these. There we go. And there's the big ones. Right. Do you want to look at, and I know what the answer will be on this one, do you want to look at, and this is in public domain, the list of paintings?
Yes,
Okay. Now,
we should talk about that.
I am not going to call it a checklist because it's not, because this is just a list of the paintings
Right.
that
It's a
Dan did.
character
Yeah.
list.
So we don't know what card they'll be on. We don't know what's tier one, what's tier two, what's tier three. Now, some of them you can guess because they're such and such versus such and such. They'll be on the battle
Sure.
spectrum.
Right.
Um,
And
and
we've seen that there's a couple characters with multiple cards too.
yeah, so that'll be the base and the canvas,
Yeah.
or the base and the gallery, rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Or
let's have a look at that. Now, I'm good. Before I go to this, I'm going to thank Nathan Braben, again of True Blue Collectibles, because on one of the first things that Dan did publicly to promote the show, he gave to promote the set. He gave away this list of paintings, this exact list of paintings. So what you're about to see is an image of that. It's printed on paper and it's signed by Dan. There it is. Now, I have just been sent a slightly higher res version of it, but for the purposes of this, we're going to go with it. Right. Let me zoom in a little bit. Obviously, this will be all these images, by the way, folks, will be on the show notes for those who listen on audio. You can probably tell that, since I've started putting these onto YouTube, I'm leaning more and more onto less description about stuff and assuming that you're big enough and ugly enough to get yourself to YouTube if you actually want to see what's being talked about. But I will, because I've always done it, I will put all these images on the show notes for the audio version, which will be on the Facebook page for the podcast. So if you want them, go there or go to YouTube. Right. These are in alphabetical order up until Wolverine, and then we get into the doubles, and then we've got loads of single characters again. So I'm betting they might be holofoil. In fact, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's scroll down. Yeah, here we go. Right. So you've got Ant-Man down to X-23 here, and then the wording starts again with Cloak,
And
Dagger,
it's
Iceman, Archangel. So I'm guessing that they might be, I don't know, are they holofoil?
those because we saw the Thor holofoil
Yeah, we
right
did.
on the cell sheet.
Hmm. And we've
Interesting.
seen a Black Widow canvas. We've seen a Captain America
Oh, interesting.
gallery.
And Spider-Man is on there twice.
Yes, yes. So we've only seen one of the Spider-Mans. I'm assuming the Spider-Man we've seen is the base
Unless
card one.
I think what didn't it have the base border, I thought?
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unless Spider-Man is Miles in one
No,
of those.
Miles is listed separately as Miles Morales. Look, we
Interesting.
called that.
I
Wow.
do not
Okay.
know.
Right. So all the usual suspects are here. Let me have a look down through this list. You've got Ant-Man, Beast, Bishop, Black Panther. We've seen Black Widow. We've seen the Canvas Gallery
Canvas.
version. We
Yep.
haven't seen the base version, and she's also in there as a Battle Spectrum
And
versus
then
Taskmaster.
she's at the top of the third right column too.
Yeah, that I think that's the Canvas Gallery.
I think you're probably
Yeah,
right.
I think that top right of the third column, I
Yeah.
think, is the Canvas Gallery.
There's 10.
Yeah. Um,
That checks out.
so Black Bolt, Black Cat, we know. Now I'm straight away my eye is drawn to Blade and Blink being in there
It's
as
cool.
deeper cuts. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Dan does with Blade. I'm really looking
I
forward.
like Blink a lot. I have a little sketch
Yeah.
collection of her from
Oh
2020,
wow, okay.
and yeah.
She a mutant? She's a mutant, isn't
hmm
she? Yeah,
Yeah, and
okay.
like usually mutants aren't super my thing, but I really like that character. So
Yeah, yeah, okay. Cable, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Cyclops, Daredevil, Dark Phoenix. There's Deathbird, so
hmm
that's another Dan's deep cuts. Um, Doc Ock Domino. Dupe, dupe.
Dupe, Dupe in what's likely the base set. That's fun. Oh my
That
God.
is fun. I'm all right. I'm gonna say it now. Tier 4 for dupe.
Oh my God.
If
Can you
they do
imagine?
what they did, if they did,
Can
it's going to drive folk
can
nuts if
you
they do that.
imagine?
I really hope they do that.
Somebody's
Um,
gonna have to pay the big monies for the dupe card.
and you know what? No, I like that people. It took people outside of their collecting comfort zone
hmm
a little
hmm
bit. And you know what? I actually say Ego, the Living Planet, is one of my favorite pieces of art
Oh yeah,
from
phenomenal.
Masterpieces
Yes,
2020. Um,
agreed.
Now I notice Ego's not on this list. I would have loved to have seen what Dan would have
hmm
done with Ego, the Living Planet.
Yep.
But you know, it's Dan's list. What else we got here? Electra. I'm excited about that. And Emma Frost. Enchantress. Eternity. We haven't seen Eternity for a little while.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That could be quite mind-bending, actually. Um, Gamora, Ghost Rider, Groot, Havoc, Hercules. Hercules. I've got a slight personal distaste for Hercules, just bringing in anything. I just don't dig him as a character.
He's just been around
I
for a
know,
while,
I
and I
know.
don't know.
Not wanting to piss on anyone's chips, but I'm sure it'll look amazing. Um, Hope Summers, Hulk, of course, Iron Fist, Jean Grey, Jessica Jones. I love a
Yeah,
bit of
you
Jessica
like her a
Jones.
lot.
I
Yeah.
do, yeah, I do. I've dug her. I was doing a rainbow Fleur Ultra Avengers, but
Mhm.
I've kind of very quickly realized that I was collecting Fleur Ultra Avengers just for the sake of collecting Fleur Ultra Avengers, not that I was massively passionate about owning the set.
Sure.
Because you know, I'm more of a Spidey guy. So I'm probably going to be bailing on what I got from it. But you know, there's brilliant artwork in Fleur Ultra Avengers. I'm looking forward to seeing what Dan does. Um, Jubilee we've seen, Juggernaut, Kitty Pride, Kitty Pride. I'm looking forward to the Kitty Pride.
hmm
I've got a lot of time for people doing Kitty Pride in sets, especially if the little dragon ends up being in a frame as well.
Right.
You can't knock a bit of Lockheed action. Craven, we've seen the prelim of. Gagging to see the the actual final of that.
Hmm.
Lizard, Luke Cage, we've seen Magic. It should be called Man Thing. Okay.
I
Dave
like Man Thing.
did Dave do Man Thing?
Man Thing was tier 3. Yeah, he had like the super like emotional red eyes coming out of the swamp.
Okay, yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
it was a very, very good painting from that
Okay.
set.
All right. So we have seen, sorry, I'm going to use this joke. We have seen Dave's Man Thing. Um, sorry, Dave. Sorry. Medusa. Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing
It's
what he does
good.
with the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be cool. That's going to
Oh
be
yeah.
gnarly. Miles, we've seen. Modoc, we've seen. Moon Knight. Oh my giddy aunt. I'm looking forward to
Hmm.
that. I never understand why Multiple Man gets so much of a look in. I mean, maybe that's his thing. Multiple Man. Multiple
Yeah.
artists like drawing him. But
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Mysterio, we've seen Namor. Not a Namor fan. Sorry. Um, Nova. Oh, Nova. Well, DeForest K. Torres will be very happy. He's a
Hmm.
Nova collector. Omega Red. Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Jonathan Omega Hunter is Omega Red fan. Not sure if he's still in the card game. I think he
I
might have
I
thrown in the
think
towel.
I think he left, but
Yeah.
Omega Red was in Unbound, so he seems to be coming back around again.
Yeah, yeah. Professor X, we've seen Psylocke, just doing a little growl under my tongue. Quicksilver, Red Skull. I'm really looking forward to seeing. I
Hmm.
love seeing what people do with Red Skull. Rocket, we've seen Rogue, could be cool. Sabretooth, Scarlet Witch, Shatterstar. Hello,
That's interesting.
hello.
Yeah.
Um, so another Dave Deep Cuts.
Dan Deep Cuts.
And
He did it
I can't believe
already.
I fucked that already. Sorry, sorry. I had this when I was at school. So my older brother is called David. So when
Uh-huh.
I went to school, the teachers had taught my brother. So every time a teacher went to say something to me, they went,
Oh,
De Ian.
yeah. Yep.
She-Hulk, looking forward to that one. Shuri, Spider-Gwen. Interesting that it's got back to being called Spider-Gwen, because for a little
Hmm.
bit it was Ghost Spider
Ghost
everywhere.
Spider, yeah.
So it should be Spider-Gwen. Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, Storm, Taskmaster, Thanos. I'm looking forward to Thanos enormously. Um, Thor, we've seen at least one. No, we saw him on the holofoil, didn't we? Where he was sat down.
Yes, he was the
He was
holofoil.
chilling.
Yep.
Yeah, he was
Yep,
chilling.
yep, yep.
But he's also on the canvas or the gallery, if this is to be believed. Because he's up here in this top of the third column.
Hmm.
I think we've concluded is
So base and then
potentially, yeah,
canvas
yeah. I don't
and
know. Interesting.
yeah, that's weird.
Don't know. Um, Uatu, of course, the Watcher.
The Watcher.
Oh, that's going to be cool. I love that. Um, Ultron, Venom, Vision, War Machine, Wasp. We've seen Winter Soldier, Wolverine. But everyone's dying for that. And X-23. So Jake will be very happy with that, as will Keith Speroni. And then the list starts. Well, it doesn't go alphabetical on this bit, but it clearly moves. I haven't counted those, but let's assume we might have just done 90. Then we go Cloak, Dagger, Iceman, Archangel, Gambit. A few people will be happy with Gambit being back
Yeah,
in.
for sure.
Longshot. That's interesting. We haven't had Longshot for a while. Mojo and Dazzler. Thank you. Oh, I'm excited to see Dan's Dazzler. Dan's Dazzler. There we go. Then we got there, and then what we fought with the canvas with Black Widow, Cap, Colossus. Colossus. Okay, yeah, metal characters. I'd be interested to see what
Huh, yeah. Dan's
have we.
metal.
Hang on, hang on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me go back.
What's
There's
wrong?
no Iron Man in what we assume is the base set list.
Interesting. There is an Iron Man at the
There is an
bottom of the
Iron Man on
other
the bottom
yeah.
right, a third column,
Weird.
but I think that's going to be holofoiled.
I wonder if it's just well, but we saw Thor holofoil. Is Thor on that list?
Don't know. I think
No.
I think he's fucking with us. Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, listen, this is like seeing part of the puzzle and trying to guess what the picture is going to look
Right,
like. So,
right.
Um, But who else have we seen? Let's have a look at some of these Battle Spectrum matchups. Um, I mean, I guess the big one here is there's no individual Fantastic Four characters listed, but they are here
Yeah,
in the Battle Spectrum. Yeah, so I
as a
think that might
unit.
have come in quite late, maybe
I think
during his window to paint.
I think Dan mentioned on that interview with Justin on Spidey
Uh-huh.
Hits
Uh-huh.
that he didn't get Fantastic Four clearance until like the end,
Wow. Okay, this
and he just
explains it.
like tried to make it work.
Okay. All right. Fantastic Four versus Doctor Doom. So that's cool.
That's
It's been a
that's gonna be
while
neat.
since we've seen any
Yeah,
Fantastic Four in a Masterpieces set.
that's gonna be
Um,
very cool.
and we haven't seen Doom since 2016. We also
Hmm.
haven't seen Silver Surfer, who's on this list, both is versus Galactus and on his own.
Hmm.
Um, Iron Man versus Hulk is an interesting battle choice.
Yeah,
That could be
that is
cool.
interesting.
Well, I'm wondering if Iron Man will be in his
Hulkbuster.
Hulkbuster.
Yeah,
Interesting. Professor X versus Magneto. That's cool. Um, Spidey versus Green Goblin. We know that
we
Miles
saw,
versus Green Goblin is in the. Oh, actually,
but
interesting.
I think
That must be Miles versus Green Goblin. That one, because we know the image is Miles versus Green Goblin.
yeah.
Okay. Hmm. This
I'm wondering
is
how much they use Miles and Spider-Man
as
interchangeably
in
in this
yeah, in the
set.
names. Yeah. Well, don't forget this list, this checklist isn't from Upper Deck. It's
Right,
Dan's.
it's from Dan, sure.
It's no, well, it's not even a check. Yeah, it's a list of
Right,
paintings,
it's a
even though it
right.
says checklist right at the top. Um, wow. Okay. Um, Vision versus Ultron. Here's a deep cut. Weapon X versus the Program.
Yeah, that's a trip.
Rogue
I
versus Mystique as well. Wow.
I like that he got some pretty, the same as Dave did. He got some freedom to
Yeah.
do some like, hey, what
Yeah.
do you want to do that's really weird? And then he just
Yeah.
hit it.
Yeah. Um, so on that note, I just want to scroll down to what I assume is the holofoil section. I don't know for sure, and highlight Phantom X as being on the list.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Carnage makes it into that section as well. There's another Colossus. Um, Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck. Yes, yes. And Jane Foster is also listed. So I imagine that'll
Oh,
be in a
curious.
Thor getup.
Yeah,
Interesting that it's listed as Jane Foster. Um, because she's often referred to as the Mighty Thor.
right.
Kang, of course, he's everywhere these days. Kingpin, Loki, Magneto, Morbius, Morbin time, Mystic, Nick Fury. That should be good. Sauron,
That's cool.
another one.
Love me some dinosaur stuff.
Yeah,
No, not a
nah,
dinosaur guy?
nah,
Come
nah. Well,
on.
I love dinosaurs as much as the next guy. I often wonder though. I'm sure it's an enjoyable one for artists to do.
Mm.
I'm just not sure how many masterpieces sets I need Sauron in as a collector.
That's fair. That's
Um,
fair.
Shadow King. Don't know much about Shadow King. I won't lie to you. And
He was in
Tigra.
Shadow King was in a Battle Spectra that Dave did, I think, but I don't know much about him either.
Yeah, I don't. I still need to. I think I'm two base cards away from tier 1 to 3 on Dave's set. And I think I've got about half of the holofoils and about half the Battle Spectra. I
Okay.
kind of really need to get my thumb out my arse and finish that set, don't I? There's no excuse at this point. I mean, we are 3 years post-release. I think I've had Dave on the podcast more times than I've had opportunities to actually buy his cards. So anyway, this is cool. I'm suitably excited.
I can't wait to see how these
Yeah,
actually like fall and
yeah, yeah. Now I tried and it wasn't cleared in time to get us the box art for today, but I couldn't. However, it may appear in my inbox in due course. So
ooh,
fingers crossed.
that would be
I
fun.
have sought approval, simply because I know Black Cat is supposed to be on it.
That would be exciting.
Because I know that was mentioned on Justin's show as well.
Yeah,
Um, and also, I believe she might be on the wrapper.
that would be very cool.
which is very cool from my
That would
point
be
of view.
very cool.
I'm
Well,
very
I
happy
think
with
for
it.
anybody's point of view, we've seen Dan's Black Cat now.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited. So on a scale of 1 to excited, Donny.
11.
Okay, good, good. Um, what are you going to go for? What's going to be your goal? Do you want to say what your goal is going to be? Or
I
keep it under your lid.
I can because it's generic because I don't know yet. So the way
Okay.
I did, it's the way I do all the sets.
Right.
So like Masterpieces 2020, I looked at all the artwork and I liked the Mysterio painting best. I thought it was a phenomenal painting,
Hmm.
and I knew how the set was going to fall. He was tier 3 because tier 4 is really really tough. That first day, like when you guys opened your box and then everybody was cracking their stuff online,
Mm.
I was like, I'm going to decide today what I want to do because I'd never really done it before. And then now for each set after that, I pick a character, and it's never the same character. And I pick the artwork that I like the most, and it
Interesting.
it
Yeah.
lets me, I learn more about a character, and it's usually I don't go for, one of the more popular ones like Fleer Ultra Avengers. I'm chasing Spectrum, because she's an interesting character and she's probably not going to show up a ton. So
Mm.
I'll wait to see all of the stuff, and then I'll pick a character and go all the way down the rabbit hole
Mm.
and see what I can make of it.
Yeah. She would have been cool in this set. I didn't see her on the list. So
There's a lot of interesting characters on that list, so
yeah.
it's gonna be neat to see how they fall and like
Mm.
where, obviously what all of the artwork looks like, and then
Yeah.
where they fall tier wise or collectability with all the different parallels. Because it's going to be a little bit of a different collecting experience, I think, than 2020 was, which was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will. I'll pick a character. And you said you're gonna put together a small Black Cat rainbow, even still, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try my best. I mean, I've talked about it before, but the state of the economy and that, and the UK inflation is kind of 3 times that of America and most of
Sure.
Europe at the moment. So it is pretty tough at the moment, just kind of budgeting for things. I
Hmm.
will try for as much of a Black Cat rainbow as I can. And then over the passage of time, I'll do tier 1 to 3 base.
Sure.
I'll do tier 4 purple, if that is indeed still in the
Yep.
mix as purple.
I'll probably do that too. That's what I did for 2020, and it
Yeah,
was just better.
yeah. I'll do regular canvas, regular holofoil, regular
Mhm.
battle spectra,
Yeah.
and that will be my set.
Yeah.
And
I'll
I'll be happy.
probably I'll probably do a base set too. I don't know if it'll be the base what if or gold signature. I did them all for 2020. I don't know that I'll do that again.
Mm,
Unless for some reason I can like noodle my way through trades on EPAC whenever it comes out there, because that's kind of how I did it
yeah,
here, was just to
yeah,
put bits and pieces together with
yeah,
redeem stuff and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. I mean, you can. I mean, the thing is with this, there'll be a strategy to it. I would suggest for anyone who's not done it, based on my past experience of free sets now, is don't underestimate how difficult it will be to put together a tier 3 set, especially in what if. Do that sooner rather than later, I would
And
suggest.
and it's not one that you can necessarily wait for EPAC for, because it gets really, really hard. It's obviously not tier 4, but with the tier 3 achievements, it
With
was
the
they
achievements. Yeah.
they were tough. Now, obviously, if you're okay with waiting for a long time, they
Mm,
will eventually dip.
yeah.
But
Couple of years.
it's
Yeah, depending on
but
character, of
it
course.
but yeah, it took a while for
Yeah.
those to come down.
Yeah. I would suggest, what else would I suggest for tips for people? This is actually quite cool, actually, for those who haven't done a masterpieces set before, what to expect. I would, if you want a base set, I'd hold for tiers 1 and 2. Just wait, unless you really want to complete it straight away. Because I think there's going to be more boxes this time around, which may
With
be
more
why the
par
sketches, yeah,
with more
because
parallels, there should
there's more
be.
parallels. But
Yeah.
that means that there'll be fewer base cards in one box, in theory,
Right, yeah, because
because
if
they're
like
numbered still.
right, say for like Fleer Ultra,
Mm,
you got base cards, but some of them were greens. So if you're
yeah,
particular about what you're doing and
yeah,
assuming that maybe greens are the
yeah,
same here, then you're going to get some base and you're going to get some green,
yeah,
and it's going to be harder to put. It's
yeah,
two separate sets
yeah.
holding one spot.
And the Gold Force signature, if this set follows past form, won't be numbered.
Right.
So, however, I mean, no one's done the maths on this set yet because we simply don't
Yeah.
know what the full proper checklist will look like. But previous sets, it's been estimated that tier 4 gold signature will be approximately the same number of cards as the what if, which are numbered to 50.
50.
So, so just bear that in mind if you're going for tier 4 stuff. The gold sig, if it's not numbered this time, we don't know for sure if it will or won't be. Let's assume it
Right.
isn't because it hasn't been. That's going to be a tough one. And if you see something, I'm just going to say on this one, this could be quite an expensive product. I think this is going to
Likely
be,
will be.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
going to be up there. Upper Deck know that there's demand for it, as evidenced by the vast amount of content on it in the last 2 weeks. Notwithstanding this podcast, we'd be talking about it anyway. To be honest with you, we're just not in a rush. I think it it will be difficult for collectors who have been even used to budgeting for the 2020 level of price. I think it's going to be a challenge for people. Um, I think if you see people selling stuff early, they're going to be aiming to recoup the cost of their
Sure.
boxes. So anything that you think can wait, hold on it. The
Mhm.
exception would be the metallurgy, some characters, Silver Spectrum Auto, and the plates.
Yep. Anything that's super low number.
They're
And
going to be up there. Yeah, they're going to be up
the
there.
somebody told me once, and this pertains more to paintings and one of one things. But I share it with people just because when they told me, a little light bulb went off in my head. But you can always sell something, but you might not be able to buy it later.
Yes.
So if you see something like a plate or a one of one or a really, really good sketch, chances are you can sell it. That doesn't mean you're going to make money or you'll get your money back, but you can always sell it later, but you may not ever be able to buy it again once
Yes.
somebody purchases it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
bear that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's still stuff from 2020 I've never seen on the market
Mhm.
at all. I mean, I didn't even see
Sure.
it get pulled on
Well,
eBay.
even one of Dave's the one painting redemption, the Spider-Man canvas, never turned up.
Oh wow, was it Wolverine the other one?
Wolverine showed up on
Yeah,
ePack and was traded and sold, and it's um I know where that's at, but the other painting, it's either still in a box somewhere or somebody opened it quietly and redeemed it and it's hanging on a
could well
wall.
be. Could well be that. Yeah, there's some of the guys who really go in for the original art do keep that quite quiet.
Mhm.
Or someone might pull the redemption card and been offered a decent amount because again,
Sure,
some of the guys who buy that art have got very deep pockets. They
it
have to,
is. Yeah, I
So
mean
it's
the Wolverine redemption card sold for a fair amount of money.
was it 5 figures?
Just under, I think.
Yeah, I remember it being around 10K if I
It
remember
was, I
correctly.
think it was
Yeah,
like nine
yeah,
something with that.
yeah,
But there might have been other pieces to the trade
yeah, of
with
course,
that outside of
of
actual
course.
dollars. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, my advice as always with this is have fun. Don't overspend. FOMO on this set will be probably the most. It's and justifiably the most in some cases.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, what advice would you give, Donny, having been through it once before,
I
especially on
mean,
the EPAC side?
yeah, and 2020 I was new, so like I hadn't done Marvel collecting. I've been, in Magic, but that's a different kind of collecting, at
Mm,
least the way I interact with it. I, I mean, one is obviously you got to know your budget. The thing I mentioned about you can always sell it later, but you might not be able to buy it again. Only goes so far. And pick your lane of what you want to do. Like I even for these other sets that aren't as hyped up as masterpieces, I pick my character and I rainbow them out, and that helps keep it focused to where it's an enjoyable hunt, but it's not like frantic spending and unlimited budgets and like weirdness and you feel bad for not being able to buy something. So,
mm, mm,
find the thing that you super love and do that. And there's ways like with Mysterio sketches, I can keep collecting Mysterio from 2020 for basically ever. Even though I've essentially finished it, it's never done because there's always other options.
mm, mm,
So
mm,
find the thing that you really like and just stick to that. And
mm.
that's perfectly fine because there will be FOMO and there's going to be a lot of posts on the group and on eBay of
An
people that
awful
are
lot.
unloading stuff, and this is going to be a big set,
Mm,
like with all those parallels, it's going to be a large. It will be
yeah,
impossible. 2020 was impossible, basically, to like make a full master set. This will
yeah.
be impossible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to a word of caution for people. There was with 2020 a number of occasions, unfortunately, of people who knew that some people were new to masterpieces and might not know what they'd pulled and
Hmm.
tried to pull some pretty dodgy trades.
Yep.
So at that time, I remember on the group, spotted this happening because I think it happened to Pat King actually. Someone tried to pull one on him, and fortunately,
Somebody tried to get me too.
yeah, fortunately, it got pulled. So what we did, we set up a bit of some of the more experienced folks. We set up a little bit of a trade kind of squad. You know, if you've got someone trading with you and you're not sure and you want a second opinion, you can
Yep.
PM any of these folks and they'll be
Yep.
up for it. So,
Yeah, and
um,
likewise for me, if anybody has questions about
mm,
stuff like that, I'm
yeah.
more than happy to help you with it.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, what I would say is if anyone's after something that's numbered 99 or 25, and they're trying to convince you that something that's unnumbered is going to be easily as good, then take a beat,
Yeah,
sleep on it. Don't get anyone rush you.
right. Then that's just it. If anybody's trying to rush you on a trade, then chances are it's probably not in
Yeah.
your best
Yeah.
interest.
Or adding more and more stuff and typing more and more stuff and trying
Yeah.
to convince you. I've seen it happen, and
Yeah, no, I have
some
too.
some people get walked and talked for a trade and just bombarded with stuff until they say, "Okay, that's fine, let's just do it," and then they
Right.
realize, "Okay, what just happened?"
Yeah. I mean,
So
there's a lot of really good folks
yeah,
that
there
are
are a lot of good folks. I'm just
in
it's just
in the trading community. Yeah.
there's that 1% of people.
And that doesn't mean to say that like I've overtraded for some things that I really need
Oh, of
because
course,
especially when it gets
Mm,
to like you said with those one of ones and plates and
mhm,
stuff like that, well,
mhm,
if you want it, you're kind of gonna have to play by somebody else's rules. You just hope
mm,
that
mm,
person
mm,
can work with it. But
yeah,
there's some stuff for 2020 that I traded for that in retrospect are like that was dumb, but
yeah,
otherwise it is what it is.
yeah,
You have to make that decision.
yeah, yeah. Um, and remember, it's cards, not a kidney.
Right. Right. It's just cards.
Just cards.
It's just cards.
Just cards, not kidneys. Have I ever told you the origin of that kidney thing? I
No,
think
I
I
don't
might have
think
said
so.
it on the podcast before. I always love
Okay.
telling this story. There's a box office manager who used to work in a West End theatre who used to talk like this, you see. And she was once overheard saying to a customer, "I don't know why you're shouting at me, sir. It's a ticket. It's not a kidney." And I always remember that.
Yep.
Bless her.
It's
So
cards, not a kidney.
his car's not a kidney. All right, I'm gonna wrap us up.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say about this set apart from Dan, come and speak to us soon. Donny, enjoy your trip to Barcelona, and
Thank you.
please let the playing be okay. And wow, that was dark. Sorry, I didn't mean to go there. Um, and where can, if people want to dig some of the magic stuff that you've got going on, I always like people to be able to pimp what's going on with their stuff. Where can
Sure.
people find you on the interwebs?
You can find my articles on hipstersofthecoast.com. There's usually at least something I've written on the homepage, and if you click on my name, it will give you everything. Marvel articles come out generally on the last Wednesday of every month, whatever the fourth week of that month is. You can find me selling stuff on the MTG Art Market or on the Artist Proof Discord, um, and then on here sometimes with Ian talking
Yeah,
about Marvel cards.
and you're on the Instagram and the Twitter as well.
I am. Yep, it's just my name, with capital D and a capital C.
Marvelous. All right.
Yep,
Well, we'll link to it. We'll link to it.
perfect.
Donny, I'm going to ask you, even though I didn't prompt you for this, I'm sure you remember it by
I
now.
remember it. I know the thing.
You know exactly what to tell people to do. Until next time, folks.
Until next time, enjoy collecting.